What up, peoples? How y'all doing? Give me a second. Sharing the stream. Hope everybody had a good week, a good weekend. Had a lot of events, a lot happening. We had jams. X League was this weekend. Um, Big tournament out in North Carolina. It was a lot that was going on this weekend. A lot going on next weekend also. Yes. Watching the end of this game. I don't know if anybody watching it. Yeah, we all right. I'm gonna talk about a couple of rules. A couple of things that happen. People who bowl tournaments. People who bowl, regular things. Do me a favor, tag your favorite, tag your favorite TD because I definitely want to know their take. And let me address something too, because a lot of people think like because of the show or because of certain things is the reason why I call people out. Like if I feel like it's damaging the game, and I feel like it's a lot of conversation on it that needs to be put out to the front, I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna address it. Um, we have a lot of conversations in the parking lot. We have a lot of conversations on one side of the bowling alley instead of addressing it and getting it out there so it can be fixed. We want to complain about it. We want to place blame, and it's really starting to get annoying. Um, it really is. Um, if you have something to say, or you want to, or have a complaint, like the parking lot isn't the place to do it. Like we have met that this sport rules are very gray. They're very easily manipulated. But when you see stuff like that, and when you have situations like the one I'm about to talk about, and why I made the post I made, like you have to start kind of realize that I'm not getting anything done by continuing to talk about it in the parking lot. Like that's my only thing. Hold on one second. Let me turn this TV down. One second. All right. But yeah, like I was saying, like a lot of stuff that you hear in the parking lot, a lot of the stuff. If I'm turning, I'm watching it in the last 2 minutes of this game. But if like it gets irritating after a while. It's like, don't get me wrong, the stuff that be the conversations that have in the parking lot, they're valid. Like they should be reported. It should be said. But you also should say something to the tournament director in a timely fashion. You can't just be saying stuff and then thinking stuff is going to be changing just because you talk about it in a parking lot, or think that things don't get changed that way. It just doesn't, to me, it just doesn't make sense. Like, yo, we're gonna address something, address it. Like we're too worried about people feelings getting hurt, you not being liked. Yo, if you love this sport and you're in this for the sport, and you have people in the sport for the wrong reasons or trying to get a leg up, and you want things to change, you have to go to the people who make the rules. And there is nothing a tournament director can do. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say nothing, but a lot of times you know these information and you know these things before you bowl, and you don't say anything, and then when stuff happens, you want to complain about it. Oh, he's known for this. Oh, he's did this and he did that, but you never said anything in the bowling alley when it mattered or to the higher ups. You had like, let me give an example. And I was trying to wait to give this example till he came on. Let me. Yes, and Amanda, what Amanda just said, sandbagging is as old as time. But the problem that I'm having with the sandbagging is you can't talk about it, or you can't continue to complain about it, and you want to make a change, or you expect the rules to get changed. Like, we have to start filing these paperwork. There was somebody in North Carolina, I think he got suspended for a year or something like that, because it was reported that he was sandbagging. I think he got either suspended for 6 months or a year or something like that. But they did the proper channels to let people aware know about this. But after the tournament is done and paid out, and then we're complaining about it in the parking lot, that's not the place to make changes. For example, there is like the last tournament we had with the issue with the young lady. There were red flags. No one told me about the situation until afterwards. Now, I told this story the first time it happened, the first show I did after that tournament. I told this story. What happened was, when I was promoting the tournament and I was trying to get more ladies to join the tournament, what happened was there were about two ladies that said, Martrell, I would love to be a part of your tournament, but I know who's going to be there. Now, I'm moving around trying to pass out flyers, trying to get the tournament, you know, up and running, trying to get it advertised. So I didn't really think about what she said. But once again, she says, I'm not going to come to your tournament because I know what female is going to be there. So what she was saying was, what I later found out was, hey, such and such is going to be there. I know whatever she's coming in at and what she's capable of. And I don't want to put my money in it unless I have a chance to win. Understandable. But if she would have told me who that person was from the jump, I'm not saying things would have been different, but I could have did some research before the tournament even started, and then handled that before this lady even got there. For example, I tagged him Maybe he'll see this later. But Dre runs he's a great tournament director out of North Carolina. He has big weekends all the time. He has great events. Dre, one day, me and Clyde was doing a tournament. And when we were doing our tournament, Dre called us. I'm sorry, no. Dre called us. I'm trying to see if he's on here. Dre called us maybe 2 days before the tournament, I think. And in those 2 days before the tournament, he said, "Hey, I just had to re-rate somebody. The person that I re-rated is rumored to be coming up to y'all tournament. He's out of Fayetteville. For those that don't know, Fayetteville is a 6-hour drive from where we at. So in my mind, I'm like, I don't think he's going to show up. That's 6 hours to come here. We didn't get a phone call. He wasn't on the pre-registration list. Didn't think he was coming at all. So when we got there to start setting up the day of the tournament, the person that Dre warned us about was the first person in line. So as soon as he was the first person in line, so me and Clyde talked about this beforehand. And we said, "Hey, I'm letting you know this now. We got a phone call from you. Before you even fill out this sheet, we got a phone call about you. If you decide to bowl our tournament, you're coming in at this average. This is the average you're coming in." And of course, he wasn't happy about it. I'm like, "But dude, we're trying to grow something here. You're not going to come. I'm not going to be mad if one or two people, if we lose these 1 or 2 entry fees because you're coming in at this average. And if you don't want to come in at this average, hey, it's no hard feelings. You will not be participating in this tournament." And guess what happened? He bowled. But we were able to be prepared about it because somebody said something before the tournament. I'm not really mad at the people who are doing it, if I'm being totally honest. If you're pin management, sandbagging, all you're doing is manipulating the rules that are already in place. The bowling rules are very easy to be manipulated. It's very hard to blame the bowler for doing this because these rules are in place. We pay $27 to $30 for USBC sanction fees. Why is it that we continue to use averages from the previous years when that bowler is not the same bowler of previous years? That makes no sense. Once again, I say this all the time. We keep fighting each other for these rules to be changed instead of going to the actual system that are making these rules. It makes no sense for us to be using last year's average. I am not the bowler I was last year. This gives all these bowlers free reign to manipulate this rule. It is ridiculous. And we still haven't had anything or anyone attempt to change this rule. League secretary should not be the only thing updating, especially when the bowlers really don't pay for league secretary. But we pay for sanction fees. We pay USBC to update our averages once a year. And as a tournament director, I know they barely fucking do that. I still have averages in my bowl.com that's not even there or updated yet. We have to figure out a way to get this rule changed or come up with a system as tournament directors, because here's another hint, just like the UBA owners talk, tournament directors talk. We had a tournament director chat from tournament directors from all over. I'm in it. There's a lot of people from a lot of states that's in it. And what we do is when we finish signing up, we put this information in this chat and say, "Hey, do y'all recognize these bowlers and are the averages right?" And we will sit there and go down the list. No, league secretary is something. League secretary is an app, Ryan. I'm not talking about your league secretary in your league. There's an app called League Secretary that updates every averages from that league that your league secretary puts into this app. That's the league secretary I'm talking about. I don't pay for league secretary. So yeah, that it's the app, Ryan. That's the one we're talking about. But we are trying to fix a system instead of going to the source of the system. The source is, as tournament directors, we need to make a valiant effort to change the way we look at current averages. Will it add more to our plate? Yes. But like I said, we are in this chat and we will put, if you see somebody with the wrong average, we say something. So we're trying to eliminate people from doing this. Hey, if you get re-rated, hey, I've re-rated this person I see on your list. This is the average they should be bowling at. You know, but when bowl.com doesn't have that information in there, we have to go to the League Secretary app and find out and do some research on these bowlers. When we're paying $27, $28, it's still mind-boggling to me how bowl.com only updates once a year. That is crazy. Technology right now is too advanced for this. It's too much stuff out here. It's too many bright people in this world where USBC, which would probably be like buying a loaf of bread when you think about the cost, the money they have to pay somebody to update your app. And let's be real, bowl.com is fucking trash. It's trash. Like bowl.com, if should at least, at the very least, bowl.com should be updated once a quarter, at least once a quarter. Because then you got your summer, fall, winter, and spring. You got your 4 seasons where people bowl. Beat the House has 4 years: fall, spring, summer, and fall. I mean, fall, spring, summer, fall, spring, winter, and summer. They have 4 seasons. Right, but Daniel Dre's been doing that. Like, people have been, that is nothing new. But as a tournament director, that should not be the end all be all. Like, that, just because one tournament director does that, that doesn't fix a situation, or 2 tournament directors do that. That doesn't fix the situation if this person goes somewhere else. Like, your average of who you are is who you are. Like, just because you make a tournament, why are you adding more work for the tournament director? Think about it. We have enough to do as it is. Don't add more work to my plate when we can have systems in place that works everywhere instead of just a number of tournaments. Yes, it's getting to the point where you have, as a tournament director, I have to set an average after 9 games of you bowling my tournament. Yes, that works for that tournament. But that should not, as a tournament director, I don't want to fucking figure out if this person is bowling my tournament and what their average is. When I pay $26 a fucking year, and then you times that by 100,000 bowlers in that state, and you telling me there's not a system that can update every quarter. When we have systems like league secretaries that does update every week. So you're not going to sit there and tell me that that the tournament director is not adding more work to our plate. That's another fucking job that I have to do. That's another fucking job that I have to figure out and make sure that I'm pinpoint perfect, because I don't want to be talked about in the fucking parking lot about how bad or this average or that average. Because you already blame us for not re-rating certain people. And when you re-rate certain people, it is very tough. It is not an easy task. There's a lot of research that's going into re-rating. Just because you say this person doesn't have, or this person is known for doing this, that doesn't automatically mean they get re-rated right then and there. That doesn't automatically mean you're right. I had a guy that used to come to my tournaments and he used to make the step ladder every single time. The reason why he kept making the step ladder is because people were bowling under their average. Yes, did he have sticks? But all he had to do was bowl average. And he won the state. I think he ended up winning the tournament, but everybody who bowled against him in the step ladder were 20 pins under average. And then they wanted me to re-rate him. How do you re-rate somebody that's only bowling average? Make that make sense. Just because you're losing to him, that doesn't mean he needs to be re-rated. Don't get me wrong. Yes, we understand people have good days. Did he have some good days? Yeah, he showed up to my tournament one time and bowled lights out one time and then lost in the step ladder. And it was like, oh, he needs to be re-rated. Why? Why? Like, it has to be a legit reason. Like, we can't just be throwing out re-rates and sandbaggers just because they bowled a couple of pins above their average. So don't get it under, like, sandbagging and what I'm talking about is not a witch hunt. We're not out here trying to witch hunt every low average bowler that hey man, you dog, you are one of the most hard-headedest cats out here. I be trying to save you, dog. Like I told you yesterday, dog, and like I told you today, please stay out of this one because ties, like a lot of you don't know how and a lot of y'all don't know who I fuck with, and if I fuck with you, how bad I be defending you on the outside. I'm gonna go ahead and address the elephant in the room, real quick because I just saw a comment that not necessarily irritated me, but I'm just trying to save someone. So everybody, I'm sure, have seen my post, and I'm gonna go ahead and get into what led to me posting that. We went to a tournament this past weekend. And I'm going to let you know from my point of view what happened. I went to a tournament. I got injured. I wasn't able to finish. I pulled my quad in my right foot, in my right leg. So it got kind of weird. I stopped bowling. And then I was just chilling for a while. A couple of guys started pot bowling. The people who I rode down there with, they started pot bowling. Me and a couple of bowlers and a couple of the helpers of the tournament went out to dinner. When I went out to dinner, there was a conversation about a bowler. And if I'm being totally honest, during the conversation of this bowler, I missed a large portion of the conversation. The reason why I missed a large portion of this conversation is because we went to, I forgot the name of the place. We went to this barbecue restaurant and that mac and cheese was so fucking good. And then I had potato salad that was good. And then the ribs and brisket was good also, but it was fun. That food was good. So I was so focused on my plate being a fat ass because, like I said, I ain't had mac and cheese that good from a restaurant in a long time. So as I was making love to my mac and cheese, I'm hearing kind of vaguely about this conversation. Now, mind you, I'm not caring. We're watching the Georgia-Texas game and we're eating barbecue. Conversation gets brought up and something gets said in the realms of, oh yeah, he's known for throwing plastic in league. He's been known for doing that and then busting out in tournaments for blah, blah, blah. Mind you, once again, I am vaguely hearing this conversation because I'm making love to this barbecue plate. So I go back to the bowling alley as my ride is finishing up pot bowling. We get on the road. While we're on the road, I get a phone call. When I get the phone call, this person that I'm talking to is snapping on me. He's snapping on me like I ran the tournament we just left from. Now, also, let me say this. The tournament was ran great. There was no problem with the tournament. His issue wasn't with the tournament. Let me make that clear. His issue was not with the tournament. The reason why he called me upset is because he knew I was a tournament director. So his question to me was, why is it so hard? And why does it seem like y'all never re-rate these people? And I'm like, when you re-rate people and when you make these accusations, you can't make them once the tournament is over and everything is paid out. You can't bring what you found out to light after everything is paid out and everybody's driving home. That is not the time to report a sandbag. Once again, if you feel like this person is bowling off the wrong average or doing something after the fact and complaining about it does not help the future. What you have to do is your research and report it before the tournament happens. Well, I don't know that, and this is how the conversation went. He says, well, I don't know this bowler. I'm not from this area, but the people around me and the people who are bowling with him and the people that he know told me that this is what he does all the time. They said he blows plastic and urethane in league to keep his average down, and then he comes to the tournaments and busts it out. Mind you, you heard what I just said. He told me the same thing that the people were saying that I went out to dinner with. Now, mind you, he didn't go out to dinner with us. He stayed in Pot Bowl. So we're in two different locations having the same conversation. So I tell him, Doug, you cannot, there's nothing that can be done unless you say something. If you don't say anything, or these people that know him aren't saying anything to the tournament director or making it known to him, there's nothing a tournament director can do. A tournament director can't go and retrospect. Only thing we can do is in the future. Just like I said, what Dre did. Dre called me and said, there's a bowler that's coming to your tournament that I had to re-rate, and this is his new average. This is why I re-rated him. And then the guy was upset, but he still bowled. And that was never an issue because we put him at the average of that trusted tournament director. And it's the same thing with bowlers. If you feel like something is wrong, the parking lot is not the place to file your fucking discrepancies. Making vague Facebook posts is not the place to. If you feel that strongly about it, call them out by name. That's why I did what I did. I did not care because I didn't know what was going on. But what I am tired of from bowlers are these behind the back conversations. Do I know the gentleman who I posted about, Leonard? No, I don't know him. Do I care? No, but part of the reason why I posted it, and I saw his response. Somebody sent me his response maybe about 10 minutes before I got on here. The main reason why I did that is because, sir, this is what you need to know is being said behind your back by your peers. We came from Georgia, and this is what they telling us. I had two people say the same thing in different locations. This is what they say. If you go to your pro shop person, I guarantee you, everybody, go to your person who you trust that works in a pro shop and ask them, how do I keep my average down? Daniel will tell you, you want to keep your average down? Bowl urethane. Bowl urethane all 3 games. That will keep your average down. Daniel, they will tell you that. So when I see your response, when I see people responses and they don't take accountability for what you do, sir, ma'am, nobody in this game, the jug is up. When you get caught, accept responsibilities and move on. You got away with the crime. It's over. The jug is up. You're under the watchful eye. You've already been on the watchful eye. I'm not even from your state. And this is the story that we're hearing from your peers, the people closest to you in the bowling center. They're the ones that are telling this information. So it's not a witch hunt. But the problem is we want to talk in the parking lot and we want to talk behind people's back. That's why I'm telling a certain somebody and certain people when I see them chime in, hey, dog, you might not want to be in this conversation because your name gets mentioned in these conversations. And there's proof. Nobody is stupid that sees this stuff going on. You old folks, we had a conversation my last show. I am not saving you no more. Carl Rogers, Sly, Scott Hodge, I've called all you guys out. Scott Hodge, I made a Facebook post about him because I've experienced what he does. Scott Hodge is coming in at 165 in leagues and only bowling certain amount of games. When you go to his bowl.com, he gets his average, certain amount of games, and stop bowling, and then goes to tournaments and kills it. You're not hiding. It's obvious. Sir, Leonard, sir, they went to your bowl.com and looked you up for 25 years. 25 years. You had 2 years where you averaged over 190 for over 21 games. And every league that you bowled in that is over 190 after that was less than 6 or less than 12 games. It was just enough games so you don't have to be registered as that average. You were bowling 9 games under, I think you had 9 games under 203 or 6 games. You had 199 for a total of 12 games. You're not fooling nobody. Take accountability. You're not going to tell me for 25 years you're a 179 bowler on the left-handed side. You're not taking accountability. This old age shit is done. You've been in the game too long to tell me that you're a 179 left-hander for 25 years. This is what people are saying behind your back. I'm the one who's just bringing it to light because I'm tired of people talking behind their back. Like, there's no need to talk about somebody behind their back. If you love this game, if they're doing fuck shit in the game, call them out. There's people who put Corey Richardson shot 290 and did not catch. He bowled, I think, a 740 or a 720 and didn't catch. But we have people, if you have a legit average and you're in a handicap tournament and you bowl under your correct average and you're getting the proper amount of sticks for the handicap, no one is talking about you. This is not about you. But when you are purposely doing it, it is obvious the accountability and the way your age, you're a senior. We got plenty of seniors averaging 230. Missed me with that. Like you the proof is there. The proof is there. You're fucking up people's money. And I'm not even talking about the people's money from who's entering the tournament. I'm not even talking about the people. I'm talking about as tournament directors. Thank you, EK. One of the best bowlers, period, is Tyrone Stevens, and he's a senior. So your age, it's a lot of you old folks that are doing this, and you think you're being slick. We know they're talking about you behind your back. I'm just the one that's bringing it to light. And great point, Nick. I don't even think you know they're talking about you. You know what they're saying about you. So you're right. Let's stop acting like you don't know. Let's stop acting like that. Like, oh, the jig is up. Oh, this is a hobby. Or this, like, tell that story to somebody else. Your bowl.com says you were a 179 for 25 years, and you're about as big as an ox, sir. You're about as big as an ox. You are very, very much strong, capable, and well-minded. I can tell by your response. Your response, oh, I'm reading this. I'm like, oh, this is well put together. But I looked at men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. Every average that you had above 179, except for those 2 years, you stopped bowling after 6, 9, or 12 games. Why? Why? The pro shop operator already tells people what they need to do to maintain a low average. And you're doing that. You are absolutely right in your response. There is no rules against what type of ball you get to use. You're absolutely right. But nobody's fucking stupid. Come on. Just say, it's better if you say nothing and then be like, all right, let me just start killing shit then. Because you're good. You're good. You bowled great in the tournament and then turned around and pop bowled. Like, the jug is up. Like they say you do this all the time. These are your peers. Trust me, by the time it gets to my desk, the research is already done. The story is already out. I'm just verifying the story. I'm not with ESPN. And let me say this. And on the flip side, I'm not ESPN. I'm not Stephen A. Smith. I'm not Woj. I'm not Shams. I'm not none of them people. So for this day forward, I'm not dying on these hills alone. Because a lot of y'all like to say stuff, hide your hand, oh, I don't want the drama. If you don't want the drama, why are you saying something anyway? And it's not drama if you're trying to correct something. It's not drama if you're trying to fix a issue that is known. It's not drama. There is not drama. You love this sport and you want to see it corrected. Stop looking at this situation and saying, oh, he just likes drama. It has nothing to do with drama and everything with trying to make the game fair across the board. There is too much money into this sport to keep having people play in our faces with sandbagging and pin management and then acting like you don't know what's going on just because you got caught. Like yo, the jug is up. You're not fooling anybody. By the time I've said it, everybody done said it already. Now, on that flip side, like I was saying, I'm not Woj. I'm not Stephen A. Smith. I'm not going to continue to put this shit out here and then other people who are giving this information, even the information is legit, you're just going to, if I hear you saying something behind somebody's back, I'm going to, and you telling me, I'm going to start saying such and such told me this. I'm going to start adding your name into this because we have to get to a point where we're not looking at this as being fearful of repercussions when we're all putting lots of money and time into this sport. This isn't basketball. I can't just show up with just the attire. I can't just show up in a bowling alley with just a bowling shirt and pick a ball. You can, but that's not how this sport really works. I can go to basketball, football, and baseball with no equipment. So every time I buy a ball, or if y'all saying this is just a hobby, this is an investment. You're buying a ball, you're buying equipment to take it to the next level so you can potentially make money and win tournaments. Everything we're doing in this sport is an investment. And when people are playing with your investment, that is the reason why you're getting upset. It's not that deep for you to be a whistleblower or telling someone that's doing something wrong, that's messing with the integrity of the game. There's a lot of people that put a lot of time and effort, and they feel slighted and they feel jaded when people are manipulating the rules. Now, granted, yes, the rules are very easy to be manipulated, but when you get caught, sometimes the best response is no response. Once again, that last situation we had at my tournament, there were two people that got caught. The first person that got caught, we stopped. We talked to him. He admitted the jig is up. Okay, I'm going to take the re-rate instead of this disqualification. He took the re-rate and still cashed. And then, I never told this part of the story. And then I guess somebody said something to him. So then he tried to come back in the room and I don't know if you want to call it buck, or he came back in there with some weird energy, I'll say. But then we had to get him right. But we can tell somebody gassed him up to go back in there. But he didn't complain about it. He didn't go and say, oh, next time you do this, next time do that. And I saw your response. Hey, say it in my face. Hey, I called. I was coming back to Alabama. I called. Hey, it's such and such there. Because I made the post, I need to let him know. If he's going to be there, I need to know why I made this post. Go ask around. I called to see if he was going to be there today. And then when they started, they said he wasn't there, and I didn't take the drive because I got injured. But I was coming out there because this is what people are saying behind your back. This is what your peers are saying about you. You were pot bowling, and they had this story. I went out to dinner, and they had this story about you. And then we looked you up on bowl.com, and we're like, damn, this is what we're noticing. Oh, damn. Like, matter of fact, let me pull it up. Like, there ain't no need to got it up right here. His bowl.com goes all the way back to 2007, 2008. So let's just go back to the last 10 years. Let's go back to 2014, 2015. His highest average was a 179 with 18 games. His highest qualifying average was a 171 with 87 games. The next year, his highest average was 186 with 72 games. The next year, his highest average was 185 with 15 games. The next year, his highest average was a 199, but it only was with 18 games. His qualifying average was 175 with 93 games. The next year, his highest average was a 208 with 3 games. His highest qualifying average was 170 with 69 games. The next year, his highest average was 180 with 72 games. The next year, his highest average was a 158 with 59 games. The next year, his highest average was a 164 with 74 games. The next year, his highest average was a 188 with 3 games. His qualifying average was 176 with 51 games. And then this year, he's at 176 with 75 games, and then another league that's not even reported. You're not going to tell me for 10 years, as well put together as you are, that you've been at that average, sir. Like, I'm sorry. You're not going to tell me with the last 10 years And that was just 10 years we did. With the last 10 years, with the improvement of equipment that has been, the advancement of equipment that you never averaged on the left side at least 190 with a qualifying average in the last 10 years, that don't seem suspicious, that don't plague your mind. Like, what are we doing? What are we talking about? You can cop a plea. You can say all of that. Yo, you can, oh, I'm a senior. Oh, I was this. I'm that. Yo, you could, like, stop it. Stop it. We were there for maybe 6 hours and we got this full story. So if you know the guy, if you've been around the guy, if you've been around that area, you already know this is the conversation. So by the time it gets to me, y'all can act like this is a surprise. Oh my gosh, he's coming at the senior. Oh, why are you coming at? Stop it. You've already heard this before. Because if we were there for 5 hours and there were 2 separate conversations with the same subject in 2 different places, come on. We're not from that area. And this is what your peers are saying about it. Like, what are you mad at me for? What are you mad at me for? And then you got people chiming in because they think they're under the radar. No, sir, they're talking about you too. And I'm letting you know this. I'm letting you know what the conversation is about. But 9 times out of 10, you already know it. And then when y'all meet somebody who's willing to tell you what the conversation and what the talks be about, now I'm the bad guy. That's fine. Hey, every villain has a story. Every villain, everybody, I gotta be a villain in somebody's story. It happens. Everybody is. And I'm all right with it. I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it. But something has to be done. We have to figure out as a bowler, like there has to be a start of a bowling committee that goes to the USBC, that reports to them, that speaks on behalf of the bowlers or TNBA or whatever organization, or us tournament directors need to get on a call and figure out a way to do these averages better. Whether somebody creates a spreadsheet, a start that if such and such is from a tournament and this is their USBC number, put it in the spreadsheet where we can look up to see what their averages are at these tournaments and other locations. Something has to be done to make the change, because now you're losing out on prize funds because people don't want to show up to these tournaments because they know who's going to be there and they don't even have a chance. You can make all the jokes you want to about handicap bowlers, but they're not going anywhere. The handicap is not going anywhere. You can make fun of it. You can say, yo, it's part of the game and it brings the most money. Laugh at that. It's what's keeping it alive until we can figure out something with scratch. And that's what these committees need to be doing. How can we implement more money into scratch tournaments to make people want to bowl scratch more? Because y'all making these little slide jokes and stuff, yo, you can't joke about something that's keeping the sport alive. Like, does it needs to be? There's enough room for everybody in this sport. Whether you are a good bowler, bad bowler, mediocre, there's room for everybody. You just have to figure out how to implement it. In basketball, there's leagues out here in basketball for people to join who don't have the same athleticism as everybody else. There's literally a league where you cannot, several leagues in different states, because I've been a part of both parts I've refereed everybody. If you don't know, I'm a sports official. I referee a lot of different sports. So I've seen it. I've seen different plays of football. I've seen different rules of basketball. When you walk in the league, they say, here is our rules, referee. Learn our rules. We don't do traditional basketball. And they have a full 18 teams, 20 teams, 24 teams, which are a great amount of teams for a rec league basketball. And they have rules where they have one league in specific where you cannot you can't move, there's no fast breaks. So if you get a rebound, you literally have to walk the ball up the court for the last 2 minutes of the game. There's no fast breaks. They got league rules in basketball where you can't press. There's no pressing until the last minute of the game. So there are rules that we can implement to make this game interesting instead of always going with the status quo and worrying about people manipulating the rules. And like we said in the tournaments, yes, we have caps now. A lot of people are implementing handicap caps, only 30 sticks, only 40 sticks, stuff like that. Like those are interesting to those people who feel like it cannot get out of hand, or they don't want to bowl a tournament because people get too much handicap. So that is a great alternative. We need to implement more rules like that. Make it. Yes. Yes. Technology is too advanced. Technology is too advanced. That there has to be something out there in the status quo. Because like I said, those names I called out, Scott Hyde, Carl Rogers, Sly, you're known for this. Me calling your name out now, you might look at, oh, why he's calling me out. But there's 40 fucking people on this live being like, yep, I know them people. Yep, that's what they say about it. So you can try to, oh, I don't know why he called my name. Oh, well, they seen me. Why didn't they say? No, they already saying. You know they're saying this about you. Sue Hill was up here. I remember when I saw you at Jams, and I was about to go to Sue Hill, and they beat me to the punch. And I heard the next time y'all went there, y'all got re-rated. There's a group of bowlers that are fucking seniors that travel from state to state and doing this in people's tournament, hoping people don't know them. This is not a shocker, because I remember my first tournament when Miss Juicy came up to me and she said, this man is going to ruin your tournaments if you don't do something about it. She was very upset because she got tired of seeing him every fucking tournament doing the same shit in different states. She said, if you don't do something, he's going to fuck up your tournament. And for a while, I had a reputation of letting in sandbaggers because I didn't know who these people were. And then until I learned how to handle it, learned from people like Ty Tillery, Dre, Dougie, learn people what to do with these situations. Because you new tournament directors, you got to talk to these old tournament directors, because 9 times out of 10, they've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly and know what to do. They're telling you these stories for a reason so stuff don't happen. A lot of tournament directors are rooting for other tournament directors to succeed because they want to bowl too. So if you're a new tournament director or thinking about being a tournament director, talk to these old tournament directors. Talk to these experienced tournament directors. Hey, what are the names that you are hearing that come to tournaments and sandbag? They'll have a list for you. It's no secret. So the people that are getting caught and the people that are doing this, like they know. We were there for 6 hours and we knew your whole history because your peers is walking around telling people. They're telling. We didn't ask for this information. I don't even think nobody even looked at him until they started spewing this information. And they was like, wait, hold up, wait, huh? He had how many? I ain't even noticed. He did what? Oh yeah, man. He known for doing that. He throw plastic and lead. That's all he throw. But we were just pop bowling. He bowled with an IQ tour. Oh no, he don't bowl with that in lead. You're left-handed. Bowl.com got you as a 179, 175 to 179 for the last 10 years. And you're on the left side. But you're a senior. And we think that matters. Sir, when I finally found out who you were, my G, you can use the senior all you want, my G. You about as big as an ox. You about as strong as an ox. Hey, my G, like you were well fit. You were more fit than my fat ass because while you was out there pot bowling, I'm sitting there making love to a bowl of macaroni and cheese. So you're not going to sit here and try to cop that plea with that response that you had. But on the flip side, the parking lot is not the place to talk about this stuff. Y'all can make all these little vague Facebook posts. Oh, I'm tired of people sandbagging. I'm tired of people doing this. I'm tired of the bowling worlds doing this. I'm tired of the bowling. Call them out. Call them out. Stop with these vague ass posts because you're already talking about them in the parking lot. His friend has already told him that he heard you talking about him. He knows this already. No one is fucking stupid. We know you know they're talking about you. Stop doing it. Like Amanda said, yeah, sandbagging has been going on since the end of time. Now it is time to put an end to it. Or, which I know these tournament directors won't do a year. Do a year, no handicap tournaments. All scratch for a whole year. No handicap tournaments. Do all scratch. I'm putting out a scratch tournament, 8 games. I'm just waiting on the date. Once the date is confirmed, and I'm just going to do it. And I'm going to be real with you. Scratch tournaments are much easier than handicap tournaments. I don't have to do no work beforehand. I have to do no work beforehand. Only thing I have to do is make sure my computer's charged. I don't have to worry about fucking verifying your fucking average. I don't have to worry about if you have the correct number of handicap. Only thing I have to worry about is if I'm importing your score incorrect. That's it. That is it. That is it. I don't care who shows up. If you're a bowler, you're going to show up. If you're not, you'll pot bowl. You'll pot bowl for that same amount of money. Why won't you do a scratch tournament? I'm confused. No, because you're still going to have the problem. We're doing that in my next tournament, Jordan. We have a scratch option where you can get into scratch 400, you can get into handicap 400, or you can get into both for 150. But the problem is still going to remain. We're always going to have problems on that handicap pair, on that handicap side. There's always going to be somebody got too much stakes. It's always a fucking problem. It's always going to be a fucking problem with the handicap because you have people who are fake doing stuff for fake reasons. That, hey, there's no way in fucking hell for some of you, you're going to tell me that you've been in this sport for over 3 years and you've never bought a single piece of equipment. You know what the fuck you're doing. You're not fooling nobody. Everybody is having the conversation about you. Everybody is having the fucking conversation about you. You know the conversation is. So when somebody brings it up and you get the, oh my God, oh, this and that, stop it. Stop it. They know the jug is up. One thing about age, you're going to be older way longer than you're going to be younger, but you're not going to be a senior longer than what you were previous years. So you're not going to tell me in the last 10 years that this is what you're capable of on the left side. You're not going to tell me that. And I'm not saying the left side is the easiest side. You just have the less traffic. You still have to throw the ball. There's no way you're going to tell me that. Equipment has gotten so much easier over the last 10 years. Over the last 10 years, your average should have at least jumped 10 points. At the least. At the least. Because I think Terry, my biggest problem with the sandbaggers and the pin management people is after you get caught or after people notice what you're doing and the talk start, you act so startled and up in arms and oh, you're just hating or you're just mad or you're just this or you're just that. And it's just like, yo, you got caught. Like I would prefer a no response or watch me get better, and then you approve, and then this is just water under the bridge. But to use the senior as an excuse on both sides, miss me with that. Because you're way more knowledgeable than what you're trying to give off. Most of the sandbaggers that I hear, most of the names, and most of the people who I've re-rated in my tournaments, they're seniors. They're seniors. I think Ed said he's about to put out a doubles. First place, 5,000 guaranteed. Singles, first place, 3,000 guaranteed scratch tournament. I mean, and that's one way to get the scratch bowlers out there is people gonna have to do how Mr. Sue Hill is doing and find sponsors. We're gonna have to find people who are gonna have to want to sponsor these tournaments, these scratch tournaments. He'll get this doubles first place 5,000 and singles first place 3,000. That's going to get a lot of traction because it's it's guaranteed already. But if it's not guaranteed, they're not coming out. But it's time, you're always going to have a problem with handicap. Like handicap tournaments, as a tournament director, we have to double recheck, double check, triple check. I need you to look at this and triple check this. All right, you did it. All right, bowlers, I need you to triple check your average to make it's too much with the scratch tournament. I don't fuck with your average. Put your name, paper, how many brackets. What's that? That's it. I ain't gotta worry about handicaps. I ain't gotta worry about it. No, scratch. But most of you people that be saying, "Oh, just do scratch tournaments," you're not gonna show up anyway. You may show up to the first one. You're not gonna keep showing up. You're not. The only way you will continuously show up is if we do a big scratch tournament for the year, once a year, twice a year, maybe. And just figure out how to do this guaranteed money like Ed was talking about. That's the only way I see it working. Or like Stu Hill and get a bunch of sponsors, and he does a great job. Shout out to Stu Hill for what he's doing. I went to the one night only tournament, went flawless. flawless from the payout in a timely fashion, from it ending within reasonable time, with the amount of people that were enjoying themselves. Um, Sue Hill in that area, and the amount of bowlers that come from out of town to continue to go to this man's tournament, and he continually to find ways to add money. You still talking, dog? I'm, hey man, I can't. I'm just going to take my hat off to Stu Hill because the amount of money, I think mystery game was 12 or $1,300 for the mystery game. Three people hit and they got like four and change for the mystery game. Can you imagine winning a mystery? Can you imagine bowling like shit and then hitting a mystery game for $1,200? Or hitting a strike pot for $2,000, $2,500. I've seen a strike pot go as high as $4,000, $6,000 at his tournaments. So he continues to find ways to bring excitement to make people want to come to his tournaments. So big hats off and shout out to my man Sue Hill, who's continually finding money, getting sponsors. I think I think Sue Hill should definitely put a class or do something for tournament directors to teach how he's able to get the sponsors that he would. That needs to be a master class because I have never seen anyone in any sport without celebrity backing generate the money he's able to generate and give away flawlessly, might I add. Never heard of an issue with his tournaments. Definitely never heard of an issue with the money. So I had a great time. The one night only tournament. It's a big event. He treats it. He dresses up. He treats it like it is a place to be because it is a place to be. I know it's tough, one night only, but when I tell you the money that is made at the one night only tournament, including what he does in jams in February and in April and stuff, I think it is in March, it is nothing short of amazing. I think he does it at Labor Day weekend and he does it in March, I believe. So big shout out to Stu Hill. Big shout out to the X League. The X League started in Alabama. We had a great time at the singles. We had a great time today. Shout out to the people who bowled. Shout out to my squad. Shout out to Don shooting 299. I think he said he shot 740. Heard Eugene shot 290. First game out the box. Eugene, that dude is a beast. That's another bowler I think don't get his flowers enough. You hear about a lot of the other bowlers a lot, but let me tell you something. Eugene, anytime I've seen Eugene, there's a lot of bowlers that you come across that kind of have an equal amount of good and bad days. Like you can see it with everybody. But when it comes to Eugene, especially these last 2 years, because it always seems like when we're in league together, we're bowling beside each other. And I'm just going off of my eye test. Even when I'm out of town and I see Eugene bowling, Eugene Beeks has probably been one of the most consistent bowlers I have seen. period. I don't think he gets his flowers enough. I'm definitely gonna make a post about him because he be killing shit. Like, and most people of caliber, they would be like, oh, if you both 700, you're kind of in another on a consistent. You're kind of like Eugene be up there like 760s to 790s on a regular, just wrecking shit. And also a hell of a mechanic. A lot of the bowlers go to him for his mechanic, and he's also a teacher. If you ask him, he's been helping me during my journey. Every time I ask him a question, every time I ask him, every time I ask him advice, he's always willing. He's always sharing. Um, and the same thing for Don. I know a lot of people give Don a lot of flack, but when it comes to the bowling alley, and I don't understand the flack that Don gets. I think Don and me are very similar. We're very passionate about the sport. We love the sport. We want to see the sport goes forward. I think if you sit down and you get to know any one of these two guys, you're definitely going to, learn a lot. You're definitely going to get a lot, and they're going to pour into you because they want to see the sport grow. A lot of people don't know Don has his hands paws on a lot of these younger bowlers, and these younger bowlers, if you was to ask them, it's almost like the NBA. A lot of the young bowlers, if you ask them who their GOAT is, they're going to say Paul George, and people are shocked that people, they don't say LeBron, Kobe, or Mike. But I think if you ask a lot of these young bowlers who their idol, who they look up to, who's their GOAT, they're going to say Don Jimenez. He has taken on a lot of these young bowlers, and anytime he's into something or doing something, they are um, they are going to be amazing at it. I got you some. Um, so, but yeah, we big shout out to Eugene, big shout out to Don for the way you bowl. Big shout out to my team. I think we finished third and fourth in it today. I apologize that I wasn't able to be out there fighting with y'all because of this dumbass old body of mine. Um, I'm not a senior though, but I'll be all right in the long run. But the X League is going to do another invitational in Conyers, Georgia, January 25th and 26th. And I think that is the home at our home house. So make sure that you put this on your calendar. You're prepared. Because the Mad Ball Strikers, that's the name of the team. Shout out to them, like I said, 3-4. So the X League next stop is going to be in Conyers, January 25th and January 26th. We have Dirty South Bowl coming up. I think it starts January 30th. Make sure you get your entries. Hit up Amanda about that. What else we got coming up? We got my tournament coming in March, 8-gamer. We got $100 for the scratch side, $100 for the handicap side, and if you want to do both, it's $150. We're gonna have tons of side pots, mega brackets. We have mini game. The mini game we're paying out after the fourth game. So we have a lot. We have a lot of stuff coming up where people can bowl, get better at. Yes, anyone can sign up for the X League event. That's the purpose. This is not necessarily a tour stop. It's a invitational, I think you want to call it. So you can come and learn what the X League is. But yes, anyone can come in and bowl. They're going to do a singles event. I believe. I believe it is definitely. I believe George will be there, the CEO, and he'll be able to answer any questions if you're looking to start a team for the X League. Um, the answer is yes. I'm not playing no more. I'm not waiting for nobody. Um, these tournaments are all day. They're they're all month. I'm already working. A lot of people have contacted me, so I'm verifying averages now. If you plan on being in the tournament, contact me or Clyde because I am starting on time. I do not want to be in the bowling alley all fucking day. I don't. Um, y'all get to leave. Y'all get breaks. We're starting to verify averages. Everybody who commented and said put me down, I'm going to be contacting you to let you know that we've got you down. Um, I'm going to let you know. Um, you know, we don't have a number yet. We're still a ways away, but we're definitely. I'm going to have a lot of fun. You already know those who've been to my tournaments before. We're going to have some fun. Um, and if I, now one thing I will say that I see Ty, Dougie, Quincy did this, Dre does this. I'm gonna do my best to put out the averages as I'm getting them and updating the list on Facebook because I think that is key to seeing what averages people come in and seeing who's trying to be slick. So we can kind of get out of all the bad, average and verifications and stuff like that. So I want to first and foremost thanks. Yes, you can walk in. Um, I'm not. That's why we're starting on time. If you walk in, you can walk in to mine in March, but we're starting on time. So if you walk in at 8:50, I think we're starting at noon. So if you walk in at 11:58, practice is starting at noon. So you can still come in all the way up until practice is over. If you miss practice, that's on you. We're starting at noon or whatever. Let me stop guessing. We start at 12:30. 12:30 practice is starting. We're doing 10 minutes of practice. So you can walk in all the way up to 12:30, 12:39. 12:39, I'm taking my last walk in, but no, you're missing practice. So about to get off here. I just wanted to address the sandbagging post of where that came from. Like I said, it came from stop talking behind people back and call them out. Stop with these vague comments. Stop with these vague posts. Call the people out for what they want. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. It's a numbers game. It's a numbers game. Your numbers are your numbers. Those are your numbers. The proof is in the pudding. A lot of y'all, when you get caught, own up to it. Like, I ain't gonna lie, I cringe every time I hear the word sandbagger. Because I know we play around with the word so much, especially when it comes to people who are using who joke around just because somebody has a good day. Real quick, let me also address this. Hold on. There's one other thing I need to address that was said. The last thing I want to address when you get caught doing something, that is not the time to point out what about them. When you get caught sandbagging or breaking a rule, there's a there's a story that's attached to you. You do this because of this, because of this, because of this. You do that because of that, because of that. We think you're sandbagging because of this, because of this, because of this. To try to throw Michaela under the bus for the weekend that she had, for the day that she had, that that is not the same thing. Michaela didn't bowl last year. If you go on bowl.com and look up Michaela, Michaela has improved every year. Michaela well documents her practices, what she's going through. Michaela was also sitting with, during that tournament, a great bowler who was also been helping her with her game because she listens. Michaela is in the WCS. Michaela goes live when she loses. Michaela goes live when she wins. Michaela, we see put in the work. Michaela has improved. So when Michaela have days that she had Saturday, it's a shock to nobody because we know the amount of work. We know what Michaela went through last year. Love Michaela to death. This is no secret. It's not like I'm putting her business out there. But Michaela lost both of her grandparents in a short amount of time last year. I remember when I lost my grandmother. When I lost my grandmother, there was a lot of memories that got attached to that. And when I lost my grandmother, one of the most things, and I think anybody who's lost a grandparent, whether it been grandma or grandpa, you remember those one-on-one conversations. And one thing my grandmother used to always tell me was like, you have to enjoy the life you live. You have to start living for you. You have to do what makes you happy. And unfortunately, it didn't hit and start clicking in my life until I lost my grandmother and I started remembering these conversations. So just like anybody else, I took some time and then I started doing things that I love to do. Why I am here now on this stream. I wanted to start this show plenty of times before I did. And it took me a bit of courage. It took me remembering what my grandmother said about life. And when I look at what Michaela is doing now, I can tell that her grandparents had the same conversation that she had, because the difference between her last year and this year, she's enjoying life. She's taking the time to do the things that she loves to do in life. So, unlike your peers who are talking about what you're doing wrong in league, bowling with plastic, not taking it, pin management, these are what your peers are saying about you. But we as Michaela peers, we see the hard work that she's putting in. We see the dedication to the game that she's putting in. We're seeing the time on and off the lanes to learn her equipment, to buy new equipment. Because her grandparents told her to enjoy her life and live her life. And that is exactly what she's doing. So when you try to point a finger at her, just know her peers aren't saying the same thing about you that they're saying about her. We're not defending your age or anything like that. So you can't, when we call you out on sandbagging, we're calling you out because your peers told us about you. When you try to call Michaela about sandbagging, we're going to tell you what you should be doing because she's the blueprint right now. Y'all have heard me say on this stream plenty of times. My game is going downhill because I don't have time to practice like I used to. And I've been telling Michaela that since I met her. Practice, practice, practice. And now me and Michaela are having different conversations. Me and Michaela are arguing because she's not calling me to come practice with her. She was like, hey, I ain't got time to call nobody. I'm in here to get this work. So we playfully argue like, damn, you couldn't call me to practice? I wanted to go practice. Like, I'm trying to get this work. I'm trying to get better. I'm trying to make my grandparents proud by doing what I love to do and getting better at it. So when you come at Michaela or anybody that we know and try to say, oh, what about that person? If that person was doing something wrong, their peers would tell you about it, just like they told us about you. So to compare the two is incomparable. Because when somebody mentioned something grand about Michaela Saturday, they said she's getting better because she listens. She throws a great ball. She's getting better. She got off the outsiders to go with a team that may not be as well, but where she can get the experience and become the bowler she needs to be because she felt like she couldn't do that with us. And guess what? As you see it, we're still behind her because it's deeper than bowling. It's deeper than the UBA. We genuinely fuck with each other on and off the lanes. Same with DSL. Same with people from Top Shelf. Same with people from. That's why I be saying our division is nothing to play with. This area is nothing to play with when it comes to bowling. You have to understand there's a difference. We're not looking at your average. We're looking at your body of work. There's a difference. There's a big difference. Your character is what's being questioned. You're questioning her average because you can't question her character. You can't question her work ethic. It's not the same. So you can try to point the finger and divert the attention and say, what about them? What about him? It's not the same. The body of work is not the same. Like I tell Jacob all the time, you have to give it time. And the same thing, Michaela been putting in time since I've met her. It ain't just been this year. She may have more time this year, but she's been putting in the work before. And there's no telling when everything will click. Because like I keep telling, and I had this conversation with Jacob all the time, you continue to practice on purpose, you're going to get better by accident. If you continue to practice on purpose, you're going to get better by accident. Jacob is another one. He's having a hard time right now. And that's because when you're learning something new, sometimes you go downward before you go up. Michaela has had her down. And now we're rejoicing with her for her ups. So for you to mention her name in this is unnecessary. Because if she was doing something wrong, she was there with her peers that would have been talking about her behind her back, just like they did you. Your peers were talking about you behind your back. Now you're mad at me for telling you what they told us. That information I just made up. Nobody just said, hey, dude, just look at this. No, they told us what to look for. They told us where the body was. They told us where the gun was. They probably didn't know we had a platform that we're going to but no. So don't mention her name in this ever again, because we can show you the body of work that she's putting in. Plain and simple. But with that being said, y'all have a good night. I'm going to bed. I got stuff to do in the morning. If you joined in the middle, it is on YouTube. Let me put the YouTube link in here just in case you did not see the show. and you want to watch it later, all episodes are on YouTube. Please go if you watch this. I know I have a huge rewatch gang. If you're watching this, put in the comments rewatch gang. If you are if you don't watch this on YouTube and you watch this live, I appreciate you. Um, 1 second. I appreciate everybody who looks forward to these lives. I appreciate everyone who been supporting since the start. We're almost at a year. It's still hard to believe. I've been doing this for almost a year on a consistent basis. Hold on 1 second. Make sure y'all have. Okay. So that's the YouTube link. If you, like I said, if you want to watch it, watch the episodes again, or if you want to share it, these are easier ways to share the episodes. Um, but yeah, if you want to watch, like I said, make sure y'all like, make sure you subscribe. I need some more subscribers on here. I'm 44. But on Facebook, Facebook says I have close to 700,000 views. And on YouTube, it ain't nowhere near that. It ain't even close. YouTube is more like 300 views. So I guess next year I'm gonna have to start really pushing the YouTube link. But yeah, so but yeah, it is weird sometimes when I do go out of town and and I get recognized in the bowling alley, and I appreciate it. It does mean a lot because sometimes I can come up here and I be like, nobody's really watching, or the same 6 people. But lately, watching these numbers grow has been very, 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 very appreciative to y'all. Um, so I want to thank you. I want to, once again, subscribe to the YouTube channel, share it with your bowling friends, inbox me, send me a message, or write comments if you want us to talk about a topic. Because, like I said, this is just to move the sport forward. The purpose of this show is so we can implement positive changes to make sure this sport grows like it needs to be. I don't have all the answers. Everything that I'm saying is just my opinion. It is not law. It is not that I can't change my mind on things. It doesn't mean I can't grow from the things I'm saying. They're just my opinion, and I'll be the first to admit all my opinions are not wrong or indifferent. They're just opinions. It does not mean anything. I'm just trying to do what I feel like is my part in bringing situations to light. That way we can get better. Oh, hold on. Why is this like this? I just saw this. Hold on. Sorry about that. There we go. So, but yeah, so make sure y'all subscribe. Um, I'm also on TikTok. I stream live on TikTok also. Um, so make sure if you have TikTok, you follow me on TikTok. I'm about to start putting more content out on TikTok. Um, TikTok is fun. I really like TikTok. So, but all right, appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good night. Oh, there we go.